This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just
This is
stop. A sham. Welcome to DBL. Happy Thursday, everybody. I woke up, I was like, ooh, Friday? No, but it's still okay. Still okay.
Thursday's like a good second to Friday.
It's Friday Junior.
I think Thursday is secretly more popular than Friday. That's my opinion.
Sexiest day of the week.
You know, in college, Thursday nights, that was the night.
It's kind of universal.
You jam in all your classes. You know, you can get a night class in there, and then Thursday night.
Thursday night for us was Wrigleyville.
Yup.
Mm-hmm. Wrigleyville had a big Thursday night.
And good specials.
In Chicago. Yep.
Great specials.
Yep.
Oh, we're doing a show.
Yeah, we're on a show.
All right, let's do a show.
On a show.
All right. Amber Heard is back on the stand today in the defamation lawsuit filed by her ex, Johnny Depp. Here's the video of Amber from yesterday on the first day of her testimony. She talked about falling in love with Johnny as well as some of the alleged domestic abuse. And a warning to our viewers, some of Amber's testimony is pretty disturbing. Take a look.
I thought he was the love of my life. And he was. He was. But he was also this other thing. And that other thing was awful. He's like grabbing my breasts. He's touching my thighs. He rips my underwear off. Proceeds to do a cavity search. He said he was looking for his drugs, his cocaine, his coke.
She also recalled the first time she said Johnny slapped her after allegedly, after she laughed at his tattoo that said "Wino Forever." Yeah, we have to be pretty careful about what we say and don't say here. What did you... I'm going to be honest, Erica, I wasn't really buying those tears, and I know we're supposed to like really listen to what a woman says. For some reason, I wasn't buying those tears on the stand. I didn't mean to put
I think it's so important because obviously we talk about domestic violence and, you know, this needs to be taken seriously. I think the problem here is that we're consuming all of this in real time, and there's just a lot of questions about credibility from both sides. So, I mean, I can understand people who are saying, like, I don't believe her, I don't believe him. Like, we're being allowed to make those, you know, decisions in real time, which I don't know if it's fair at all.
That's what happens when a judge says you're allowed to film in the courtroom. It becomes a court case for the entire United States of America. That's what O.J. Simpson was. That's what you see when that happens. I also didn't believe her, and I'm someone that always wants to believe the survivor or the victim, but I should say survivor. There were no tears. I watch a lot of true crime. There was a lot of body language that just didn't seem right. But all the jury needs to know or believe is that Johnny Depp hit her once or more than once, and she's won. Because he's suing her for defamation, saying I was an abused woman. If the jury believes her at least once, she's won. I don't believe her, but it's all up to those 12 people.
Yeah, it's everybody's focusing on her. I kind of looked at it, and we've been lucky enough to have a body language on this show, so expert on. So I really do appreciate that. But one thing I always look for, especially in court cases, and when somebody says something, the other person's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she said that he did those things, and in the cavity shirt, his eyebrows went up. And because if I was testifying against Erica, and I said, you know what, early in DBL days, Erica and I would have a glass of wine and hang out after the show, and she wouldn't make a face. But if I go, and then we would go buy crack, her face would do that.
Right.
Her face would do that.
Right.
Because it's not true. Mm-hmm. And when something's not true, you react to it. And that's my exact. And when he made that face, I was like,
but he's also aware the jury's watching him.
But but also we have the other side when he was testifying and how stoic she was. Mm-hmm. So that's a weird juxtaposition.
Totally.
Yeah, it's almost like an audition, not a court trial.
Totally.
It almost seems like that. All right, the comedy world is reacting to Dave Chappelle being attacked while on stage at the Hollywood Bowl on Tuesday, which you see in this TMZ video. Dave responded through his spokesperson saying he is working with police and refuses to let the attack overshadow the show. TMZ got audio of Dave talking about the attack just hours afterwards.
I felt good when my friends broke his arm.
Police also released photos of the weapon used in the attack. It's a gun replica, but with a knife attachment.
That's a serious
Fellow
knife.
comedians are also speaking out. Here's what Howie Mandel said yesterday on E! News Pop.
Not to comment on what happened at the Academy Awards, but I thought that opened the floodgates. Violence triggers violence. And I think this is the beginning of, the end for comedy. I've been in the business for 45 years, and my biggest fear is that you wouldn't laugh and there'd be silence. There shouldn't be fear for my own well-being.
All right, Al. The end of comedy is a pretty strong statement.
I thought it was too, but then I thought about it, and I was talking to our beloved Michael Dean about this earlier today, and we've had Howie on the show, and at first I was like, well, that's a little much, but I thought about like the end of comedy. Well, what are we looking at? We're seeing comedians being silenced for things that they've said in the past. We're seeing comedians that have been kind of ostracized for kind of doing their job, which is calling out things that they see as unequal. Sometimes they're wrong about that. Sometimes they're going to say things that aren't funny, but they might highlight something that we never thought about. And for a lot of people, a comic helps explain the world to you. Not everybody has a great set of parents that can be like, Erica, here's what that is, and here's what satire is, and here's why you don't need to trust every politician, and here's how sometimes people that say they have your best, the intentions in mind really don't. And comics like George Carlin and Richard Pryor and a young Chris Rock spoke to a young me, and it kind of explained the world to me and explained sarcasm, which is how I communicate. So taking that away from people, I think is wrong, and I think it's a way to have a very uniform and homogenized, boring society that is anti-free thought, anti-free speech, and anti-fun. I know I'm old, but like, I don't want to see kids grow up and go to comedy clubs where the comic promises not to offend anybody. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. That's your night?
Yeah.
Really?
And it's the opposite of what America was sort of founded on, this radical idea of creating this country. That would be too much for some people these days, and they'd be canceled, like the Boston Tea Party. But I do think comics are the truth tellers, but it feels like America just can't take a joke right now.
Well, I think it goes to for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So it's like, so you came for us on this, so we're going to come for you on that.
Yes.
They came for us on that, so we're going to. So it just keeps
never ends.
Right. And then there's always a target. There's always a target.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
I feel like it's coming back a little bit. We're getting more and more examples of like people just getting tired of it, like you, or it's boring, or having opinions. And to be honest, sometimes you're stifled on shows like this. You know what I mean? Right. You're like, I'm not going to say that, but as soon as the cameras go off, let's have a real conversation about it, right? Because you might get in trouble for what you say. That's not a good world to live in.
It's a boring world, yep.
Coming up on DBL, let's have a laugh, huh? Margaret Cho is weighing in on what happened to Dave Chappelle on stage. Maybe not that part, but she has other funny parts. She gives us her take on what comedians are dealing with during their performances. And Tom Cruise makes an epic entrance at the Top Gun Maverick premiere. Will the movie be worth the wait? Look at TC.
Look at Maverick.
Closed captioning provided by
Daily Blast Live is always timely, always focused, always ready, always on cue. This May, don't miss a day. DBL is all new every day.
We were just talking about Tom Cruise and like love him, hate him, don't know him, don't watch his movies. When he does like a walk from a helicopter to promote Top Gun, you're just like, yeah, that's cool.
Are you excited about Top Gun?
I'm so excited about Top Gun because it's an escapism for me. And there's also great music in Top Gun, great bodies. Let's be honest, the volleyball scene. I can't wait to see how they do.
They were there last night and they saw the movie and they really liked it.
They did?
Really? That's cool.
They did, because what I hated, what I didn't want to see
really cool.
was an awful sequel to Top Gun. What you just, because it was so good, you were like, why'd they make this story again? Right. So if it's good, I'm so excited.
I feel like movies have been on an upswing. I know it's like fun to attack everything, but I went on Sunday night and saw The Bad Guys with my son Elijah, cartoon movie, kind of. It seemed like it was kind of loosely based off the character of the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Nice.
But it wasn't, but it just kind of seemed like that. But I thought it was really well done. Maybe they will. It was like Pixar, but like a level up where like it was for older kids and their parents. Like,
I love when
it was
they
a
do that.
Great plot line.
I love when they do that.
I love the messaging in it.
That's good.
And
you went to the movies to see it.
Yeah, and basically the plot line is like, I'm not giving anything away, is that when they call them the bad guys, like they were cartoon characters, but like one was a piranha, one was a tarantula, one was a fox. Things people are scared
Predators
of.
almost.
And so, but they were like, we're good people, but people are scared of us, so we might as well be bad. And so, what a comment on society where it's like, when you ask people, like, why did you choose life for crime? It's like, hey, I got a big scar on my face. A black guy from downtown Detroit. The whole world's scared of me anyway.
Right, why not go that route?
And so, like, the understanding of both sides and, like, why people live the lives that they do and how people really do want to do good, but, like, they just know that they're going to be knocked back because of how they look. Fascinating.
Wow, Bad Guys. Also recommend Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
What is
Very
that?
good.
Welcome back. Tom Cruise made an epic entrance to the world premiere of Top Gun Maverick. Tom flew in on a helicopter to the event at San Diego's North Island Navy base. Despite early reports that Tom flew the helicopter, he confirmed that he was just a passenger. Although he believes he knows how to fly. I think in Mission Impossible, he flew his own helicopter. The movie comes 36 years after the original. Top Gun was released, 36 years ago. It was supposed to be released last year, but was delayed due to the pandemic, of course. Tom said he and the crew worked hard to get the movie finished in time for its Memorial Day release. America, watch.
I called all the theater owners. I said, listen, I promise you, this movie's coming. You know, do not, we're going to be there. You be there, I'll be there, I promise you. And I said, I give you my word. I'm going to give it everything I have to deliver for you and for the audience that has been waiting 36 years. I'm not going to stop. I will not do it. And to see them have that experience, it just meant the world to me.
So, Tori, you're our movie expert. You watched part of the trailer. What did you think?
That was a shot.
That was a commercial break shot.
That's a commercial break. I was really nervous to hear that the sequel to Top Gun might not be good because there's so much anticipation. And our executive producer, Chris Clark, said he had friends that saw it last night and they liked it. And so to me, I'm like, oh my God, please be a Terminator 2 where the sequel is just as good as the original.
Are you going to see it tonight?
Oh my, no, I'm going to see Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which is another movie I'll talk about later in the theaters. But this movie needs to be in the theater. You gotta feel the need for speed next to your person.
Well, it comes out Memorial Day, right? So it's not out.
No, but when it comes out, I'm glad he made the push for it not to be on Netflix, a streaming, that we need to see it in the theater. And it feels like a return in some ways after a long time being kept up.
All right, so Tom Cruise is also praising Lady Gaga for, hey Ira, for her work on the film soundtrack. Tom told James Corden that Lady Gaga not only wrote the film song, because the first one had an epic soundtrack, Hold My Hand, but also helped compose the score. Let's watch.
She's amazing, and it just opened those doors to the emotional core of the film that we had, and just it's like that moment and things just came together in such a beautiful way. Her song that she'd written just fell right in and became really the underlying score and the heartbeat of our film.
Did anyone think Tom was going to jump up on that couch?
Yes, I know.
Never going to live that down.
I did not.
I love her. I didn't want it to be. This song got Tom's seal of approval. Let's get our own take on it. Let's listen.
So bright tonight, but don't you let go of my hand. You can cry every last tear. I won't leave till
All right, I got to tell you, like, you take that just with a still photo, it's okay, right?
But with
if
him,
you make that like a Survivor song and Tom Cruise is flying in on a jet and so many cannonballs out of there.
Yeah. First of all, Lady Gaga, she is the entire like vocal orchestra. She is the percussion, the strings, the winds, the words. Because she really knows how to tap into so many different genres. Like if you want someone, like she's a great person to go to get the, what he said, the heartbeat.
The ambiance, yeah.
Right. It makes total sense to me. As we know, I'm not exactly the biggest Top Gun connoisseur, but that would make me excited. Like that song makes me excited to see how that scene plays out and how it's intertwined into the movie, because the song stands on its own. That is a hit.
And Erica,
it's a first listen.
It's going to kick in with the movie theater speakers. That's when it's going to like
and those
really
80s
cement itself.
drums, did you hear those? Boom. That's just so Top Gun.
That's right. How does 80s drums differ from
like this,
today's drums?
Boom. And now
do a today drum.
Boo, boo, boo.
Coming up on DBL, our interview with Margaret Cho. What does she think about the Dave Chappelle incident at the Hollywood Bowl? Let's find out. And more drums to come.
Yeah, you'll hear him.
So tonight, but don't you let go of my hand. You can.
I've never really been.
With many parents desperate to feed their babies because of the baby formula shortage, I've seen this Facebook post shared with a recipe for a homemade baby formula. It's a mixture of evaporated milk, purified water, light Karo syrup, and liquid infant vitamins. But is it safe to use? Let's verify. Our sources for this are the American Academy of Pediatrics, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and Katina Little, a pediatric nurse practitioner with Novant Health. The AAP warns parents not to feed homemade formula to infants. It might contain too many or not enough nutrients, and it can put babies at risk of getting sick. The FDA also advises parents to not give babies homemade infant formula because of serious health and safety concerns, including contamination, nutritional imbalances, and foodborne illnesses. The FDA does regulate all commercially available infant formulas, but does not regulate recipes for homemade formulas. And Little agrees with all of this.
It is not safe to make your own formula. There are several reasons that go along with that. One of the biggest is just the risk factor of not mixing it correctly.
Little says if it is not mixed the right way, babies could be given too much or too little of something. She says this could cause problems with brain development, weight gain, and digestion, along with many other things.
This too will pass, and we will get to a point where we have enough. So the resources that you can tap into will hold you over until you can get it. But I want to say, just don't think, you have to resort to making it on your own or creating it on your own.
So we can verify that no, it is not safe to feed your baby homemade formula.
Rolling Stone magazine named her one of the best stand-up comics of all time. Earlier, we spoke to Margaret Cho and got her take on Dave Chappelle's attack. Take a look.
Hi.
Margaret, we got to get right to this because obviously all the drama going on. You're so cool. You're part of the Netflix is a Joke festival lineup. Obviously, Dave Chappelle attacked during the set. I just want to know, what do you think happened and how is this affecting you as a fellow comic?
I think it's really crazy and sad, and that we're just getting attacked physically. What's great is that Chris Rock was there to say, "Hey, was that Will Smith?" It's really incredible. I think that's one of the things that we love about live performance, is that anything can happen, and one of the things that we don't love about live performance is that anything can happen. So really, I think it's one of the things that draws people out to go see shows, is that immediacy of the audience and the performer. And, it's a good thing that Jamie Foxx and Busta Rhymes were there to be, defense. I don't think that anybody would have expected anything like that.
Speaking of comedians, you were the last guest on Bob Saget's podcast 6 days before he passed. Does anything special stand out from that interview, or even how precious and short life is in general?
It's so precious, and I love Bob, and I cannot believe he's not here, along with Louis Anderson, along with Gilbert and Norm. These are people, these are our family. Comedians, we're really close. And I mean, that's why you're seeing, somebody like Chris Rock stepping up for Dave, or Jamie, who's also a comedian, stepping up for Dave. You have us doing anything we can for each other. And these guys are really family. And I'm still trying to process the grief. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, is comedians are not great at grief. We lose our greatest, people like Robin Williams, people like Joan Rivers, who, I still have a hard time thinking about that. Mm. So we lose them along the way. So love them while you have them. Love them if you got them.
Good advice.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, Margaret, you grew up in San Francisco, and your parents actually owned a gay bookstore. So how did they feel about you coming out as queer?
Well, they understand lesbians, they understand straight people, they don't understand bisexual people. Because every time I say, well, I'm actually bisexual, they go, oh, no. 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 So because they think that the duality of it is false. You know, that you're either betraying one side or another side. But really, I think it's just, they're just only speaking from their own experience of, okay, we're this. But for me, this is sort of the struggle of being queer, is understanding the levels of queerness that you exist in. So I'm very happy to proudly be bi. And by bi, I mean me and everybody else.
Exactly. True. Okay, so Fire Island, the name of your new movie. Some viewers may not know that Fire Island is actually a beach town getaway for celebrities and the gay community. Now, tell me, why is it being called or series rather, why is it being called a modern day Pride and Prejudice? Tell us.
It is a reimagining of the story where, you know, it's like class is really defined, but when you infuse romance into the story, then it changes the game. So really, these are kind of universal themes that work both in Britain in the 1800s and here on Fire Island in 2022. So it's a wonderful, wonderful film. It's gay, Asian, it's me, it's the incredible Bowen Yang, the incredible Joel Kim Booster, who wrote and stars in this. And we had an amazing time making it on the greatest gay beach in the world.
Margaret, thank you so much for joining us. To our viewers, you can catch her in Fire Island, streaming June 3rd on Hulu. And you can also visit margaretcho.com for live tour dates. You gotta see her live. We'll be right back. Thank you, Margaret.
Thanks, Margaret.
Thank you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Supreme Court has confirmed that a draft opinion on abortion rights leaked to Politico is legitimate. The opinion was written by Justice Samuel Alito, and it is not final, but it indicates the court could be preparing to overturn Roe v. Wade and allow states to make their own abortion laws. Both the opinion and the fact that it was leaked made huge waves, with many calling the leak unprecedented. But is that really true? Is this the first time a Supreme Court decision has been leaked to the public? Let's verify. Our sources: Time Magazine, lawyer and historian James Robinalt, the New York Daily Tribune from 1852, the Washington Post from 1986, and two law professors, Josh Blackman and Ben Barton. Roe v. Wade was decided on January 22nd, 1973. Just hours beforehand, this edition of Time Magazine hit newsstands. In it was this article reading, quote, "Last week, Time learned that the Supreme Court has decided to strike down nearly every anti-abortion law in the land." Historian James Robinalt explained what happened in a recent column for the Washington Post. He had previously interviewed the leaker, who said the article wasn't supposed to be published until after the official release. But that release got delayed a few hours, and so Time wound up jumping the gun. But that wasn't the first time a decision leaked. Historian Jonathan Peters said on Twitter an 1852 decision was published 10 days before it was officially announced. We actually found that clipping in the archives of the New York Daily Tribune. It's only a short blurb that reads, "The Supreme Court have decided the case of Pennsylvania against the Wheeling and Belmont Bridge Company in favor of the former party. Judge McClain will deliver the opinion of the court someday this week." In fact, it was delivered more than a week later. And finally, one of the more recent examples of a leaked decision comes from 1986, when the court struck down a key portion of a recently passed budget law. Here's an article from the Washington Post at the time, dated July 8th. It reads, quote, "ABC News Supreme Court correspondent Tim O'Brien, in a rare leak from the court June 15th, reported that the law would be struck down the next day on a 7-2 vote, and that Berger was writing the opinion." O'Brien was right about the outcome, but his predicted date was off by a few weeks. So we can verify, no, this is not the first leaked Supreme Court decision. But legal scholars we talked to said it's still an historic occurrence. This is the first time a complete draft opinion has ever been leaked.
Leaking the outcome and even a proposed vote tally is really different than leaking these early versions of the opinion where you're getting the inside voice of the Supreme Court.
Word of decisions has leaked out, and that's unfortunate. but never a draft decision leaked out months in advance. This is simply startling.
With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
All next week on DBL, Hollywood legend Mary Lou Henner will be here as our special guest co-host. Along with her unfiltered takes on the week's hottest topics, she'll tell us all about her start in the original production of Grease and her wild times behind the scenes of her hit show Taxi.
Mary Lou Henner is like, we have a history. You know what I'm saying?
Danny's a blast and a great kisser.
Plus, we've got a big surprise for her live all next week. You're not going to want to miss a day.
Mother's Day is this weekend, and for those last-minute shoppers, we've got you covered. Check out these deals from our friends at Morning Save.
Steph, what do you have for us today?
First up, we've got True Beauty Microderm Blemish System.
Whoa.
So this deal includes one base with 4 different tips, 5 dual end extraction tools, 1 storage case, and 1 charging cord. So what this will do is draw out your built-up impurities from under the skin. Normally this is $25. We've got it for $12. It saves everyone 52%. We've got Ella Jane 3-piece comforter set or a 4-piece triple brush sheet set.
Oh.
So this includes 1 flat sheet, 1 fitted sheet, and 2 pillowcases. Or if you want to go for the comforter set, it includes 1 comforter and 2 shams. Normally the sets are between $70 and $130. So you can get either set between $19 and $39 depending on the size that you're going to need. But either way, it's saving you 73%. We've got the Optimus 2.0 gallon cool mist evaporative humidifier.
Oh, good.
So this deal includes 1 humidifier. This little control knob here lets you easily control the desired output level to experience that humidified air. So normally this is $70.
Okay.
But we've got it, Tori, for $29.
Oh!
That's 59% off.
Oh, the retail price just evaporated, Steph.
I love that, Tori.
Oh, look at that.
And then last but certainly not least, we've got Eco Home 3-piece stainless steel mixing bowl with bamboo lid.
Look how good that looks.
I know, this is fancy. So this deal includes 3 different bowls with 3 lids. Each bowl is stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about plastic leaking into your food.
Wow.
Normally, these are $60.
Yeah.
But we've got them for $29, saving 52%. Now that's a good deal.
All right, head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even just scan that QR code on screen right with your phone, or visit morningsave.com on your smartphone as well. Thank you so much, Steph.
All right, Al, you're going to think I'm joking, but I have an appreciation for a nice big salad bowl.
But
I do what
too.
you're going to say.
Yeah,
Does everybody?
Transport? Yes, those salad bowls. I was like, okay, where are those at?
Does it bring back Al having breakfast during our morning meetings with a steak in his salad?
Yeah.
Steak in the morning.
Where hope finds help. Where courage meets conviction. Where makers make fans. We are Tegna, a family of local and national media brands that bring us together, serving the greater good of our communities. Where national know-how backs local business. Be in good company with Tegna.
All next week on DBL, Hollywood legend Mary Lou Henner will be here as our special guest co-host with her unfiltered takes on the week's hottest topics. Plus, we've got a big surprise for her live all next week. You're not going to want to miss a day.